Welcome to Tech Tuesday on the Final Boss podcast, where innovation meets attitude, and the future gets decoded one bite at a time. I'm your host, Turbotheceo, and your co-host, Mike Foth. And today we're diving deep into the tech trenches to uncover the tools, trends, and truths shaping tomorrow. Whether you're a code slinger, gadget geek, or just tech curious, this is your weekly power-up. So grab your controller, plug in, and let's level up.
Welcome to the Final Boss Tech Tuesdays. Man, we got a great show for you tonight. Per always, our shows are always great. It's Tech Tuesday. Listen, grab a pen and paper. It's time to get educated because that's what we're here to do. We're going to bring some information, some knowledge to you that I'm quite sure that you didn't even think about. And now we're giving you and arming you with the knowledge that is very necessary. All right. This is Tech Tuesday, and it is episode number 111. That's a special number. Episode number 111, people. 111. Wait a minute. 111. And today's date is 9/2/11. And it's 9:02. Oh, man. We cooking like hot grease, man. All those 11s. Yeah. That's going to be special. If you're into numerology and the study of numbers, man, this is a great show for you tonight, just based off the information I just gave you. And to each and every last single one of you around the world, no matter where you are, thank you for tuning in. And this is our greeting for today. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. And thank you for joining us. Listen up to my smarts, to my final bosses, to my motivators, to my warriors. Guys, please continue to give us feedback. DM us. Hit us on all the social media platforms that you see us on. Make sure that you are following us. Like, share, subscribe. Check out the YouTube channel. Check out the Spotify. Just check us out everywhere, man. We're on Kick. We're on Twitch. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We're on LinkedIn for all the business professionals. We're everywhere. And this is just the beginning. So make sure you check us out everywhere you see us at. DM us feedback and questions, answers. You want to get on the show? Hit us up. We greatly appreciate it. So we got that out the way. Sensei, how you feeling?
Busy day.
Same here, man.
Every day's a busy day. Got to make time for some Tech Tuesday, though.
Oh, man. Got to make time for Tech Tuesday. Absolutely. Man, we're going to get ready and get into the brass tacks of the evening. Brass tacks of the evening comes from none other than Steve Jobs. And here it is. People think focus means saying yes to the thing you've got to focus on. But that's not what it means at all. It means saying no to the 100 other good ideas that there are. Focus. And that's our brass tacks from none other than Steve Jobs. All right, man. Let that marinate in your spine. So we got a great show for you tonight. And what else? What do I got? What do I have here? This is for entertainment purposes only.
Is it real or is it Memorex?
We're going to say Memorex. Oh, man. Listen, if you guys have been following along since day one, you would notice that, and I have to give this disclaimer, and after tonight, I think everybody should get it. This disclaimer that I've merged all 4 shows. So we've had 3 shows that were separate from the Motivation Monday show. Now, for numerical and numerical purposes, and to make sure things stay in alignment, we've added the Motivation Monday show into the other lineup. So instead of yesterday being Motivation Monday episode number 11, it happened to be episode 110, and then so forth and so on. So all the shows are in alignment, which means they're going to end at the same time and start at the same time. We're not doing separate seasons like we did before. So just to make things a lot easier, because we're on this journey together and we're committed to excellence, and we're committed to make sure that you guys have the best experience possible. So now that I have that out the way, attention. What is attention? Right? Well, it's the currency of our time. Right? Everyone wants it. Nobody has enough of it. And students, they're the first casualties of it. But here's the kicker. This collapse of attention spans isn't random. I say again, it isn't random. It's been engineered for decades, and we're going to tell you how tonight. Tonight, we're walking the full timeline and asking the questions of what's going on with attention. And we're going to start from the likes of TikTok. We're going to deep dive all the way to Shakespeare, ER, and breaking down how we went from a 3-hour focus to an 8-second scroll. That's going to be our show tonight. So, Sensei, my good sir, what say you?
Oh, if you think it's just kids these days, because we always like to do that and say it's just the kids, then you're missing the big picture. So, the culture has rewired these kids step by step. So attention didn't just die; it was murdered slowly by cuts, commercials, and clicks. I mean, think about that. Death by 1,000 cuts.
Wow. Wow. No cuts. No interruptions. Just immersion.
And that was back in Shakespeare, right? So you're talking on way back, one set, one story, 3 hours long. Nothing but dialogue and imagination. People sat in crowded theaters and stayed locked in. This was not exceptional. This was normal. This is what they did. You went for entertainment. You go watch a 3-hour play.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, no cuts, no interruptions, just immersion.
Wow.
I mean, attention was a long arc. Culture was a rhythm. You'd follow it from the beginning, and you'd follow the story all the way through the end. No cuts.
Man, that is quite interesting.
Think about it. That's where we started.
Yeah.
I mean, even outside the theater, sermons, debates, speeches, they lasted 3 hours. They lasted hours and hours and hours. People, and they just listened. The Lincoln and Douglas debates, when Abraham Lincoln was debating with Frederick Douglass, they ran 3 hours each. People stood in fields to hear them. Today, You barely make it through a 5-minute YouTube video without checking your phone.
Man, I want to throw a flag so bad.
Look,
Oh man, that is incredible.
3 hours in the Globe Theater and nobody was reaching for their phone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
But that's where we started.
Right. And then the film arrives. And still single takes, still long shots, but slowly the cut shows up.
Right. Silent films taught people to track edits. The Great Train Robbery in 1903, the final shot of a train rushing towards the audience made people scream and duck. Cuts were shocking because the brain wasn't trained for it yet. People didn't know how to deal with that mentally.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? They were used to the stage.
Wow.
And when you cut from the stage to another scene, people didn't know how to react to that because stage was fade in, fade out.
Right.
A cut was absolutely alien and frightening to people.
And then boom, television. Television brings it into the living room.
Theater in the living room. That's right. Shows like I Love Lucy or The Honeymooners. Think about that.
Yeah.
I haven't watched any of those old shows. Single camera.
Yeah.
One set, one sponsor. The ad break was brought to you by Colgate. Not 6 ad pods slicing your night apart.
I remember that.
The early screens didn't shatter your focus. They borrowed it from the stage. So the TVs acted a lot like the stage. The single camera focused on the one room and people would walk in and out of the set.
Exactly.
But the set didn't change.
That didn't change, right. But then the cut rate started to climb.
Yes. Multi-camera sitcoms. Cheers, Friends. Okay. They had at least 3 angles. They'd have a wide angle, a medium angle, and a close-up angle. And here we go. Every joke was punctuated by a cut. So the viewers started resetting their attention every 15 seconds, 10 to 15 seconds, without even realizing it. The subtlety of it was so minuscule that you got used to something happening without even knowing that you're used to it happening. Now that's considered old school now.
Yeah, definitely old school. But I remember those. I remember those exactly how you just described it. And then those commercials, they started coming in like flashbangs.
Just like a nuclear bomb. Boom! Look, early TV had one sponsor, one break. The sponsor paid for the whole show.
Right.
But by the 1980s, and think about how long ago the 1980s was. In the 1980s, we're in 2025. 1980 was how many years ago? 45 years ago was the 80s.
Wow.
1 hour drama was 42 minutes of content split into 6 or 7 segments. Each break out of those 6 or 7 segments, so every almost 10 minutes, okay, 42-hour content, 6 to 7 segments of content, but each break had 6 to 8
commercials.
There we go. I'm having technical difficulties. I'm getting a new headset. It'll be here tomorrow.
It's okay.
What I was saying is each 1 hour drama has 42 minutes of content split into 6 to 7 segments. Each break, 6 to 8 commercials. So imagine how many commercials is that? So for one night of TV, your brain would take in 40 minutes of story, shred it into short arcs, 40 plus commercials split across ad pods, and each commercial packed with 20 to 30 visual cuts. That's hundreds of resets in under an hour. Because remember, every time a scene changes, that's considered a reset or a visual cut. Okay? Hundreds of resets in under an hour.
Right. And don't forget the volume spike.
That's right. Look, back in the day, commercials were loud. Your TV would be at volume 10 and the commercial would be at volume 15. They were mixed on purpose. Your show is quiet. Bam! Head on. Right to your forehead. It wasn't sloppy engineering. It was weaponized attention grabbing.
That's interesting.
Look, commercials aren't interruptions. They're training drills for distraction. The laugh track. You remember the laugh track? You'd watch a show and you'd be watching the joke and you're not laughing. It's not that funny, but the laugh track is going. And it's the first dopamine button. Cut, laugh, reset. And yet it continually goes on and on and on. And we just don't even notice that it's happening to us. It just becomes natural. You get used to it. You know? Like when the first people, like we were talking about, when the first people watched that first cut and the train came at them at the end of the show, they jumped and screamed and ran and thought the train was going to hit them. I mean, seriously, that's so much different now than when it's like, bam, 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 bam. Okay. And just think that was in the 80s. Yeah. We have not even gotten into the 90s yet. Okay. We're only talking in the 80s and everything was simple in the 80s. Okay. This is where I'm going to call the evil genius was really starting to get a foothold. Because when TV first came out, it went for years, decades with a very similar style. Look at the TV show example. Like you ever watch The Jeffersons, All in the Family, and these shows in the 70s, they'd have one or two scene or sets. Everything happened in and out of the set.
Right.
The people weren't moving and you followed the people. The camera was fixed and the set was the set. And you think about how many years from when TV first started until it really started to change. It didn't change until the 80s. So you had, 20 years of TV acting the same?
Right.
And then...
What was the defining moment that changed all of that?
Wow. I mean, look, TV stations are like anything else. They're monetized.
Yeah.
And if you can fit one commercial in and they pay a certain amount. Well, if I can fit more commercials in, it's more money. It's just in the dollars. If you want to know how things change in the world and why they change, just follow the money. So if you follow the money, if I can have one advertiser for this set, or I can have 7 or 8 advertisers. So why don't I just have more advertisers? Because it just means more money in my pocket, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Marketing is a science. It
is.
Look, it truly is.
And once you start paying attention to it, you can break it down into little pieces. And you can't do it all at once. So again, we think about how long ago was the 80s.
Right.
And
you have me thinking about some of the sitcoms that I remember growing up on. And you're absolutely correct. Like you said, the Jeffersons, All in the Family, Cosby Show,
Sanford and Son.
Sanford and Son. Man, what were some of the other great shows? Three's Company.
Three's Company, absolutely. What they have? They had a primary 1 or 2 sets.
Primary living room was where all the action took place.
And people would come in and out of the set.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you really look at it, like I said, back then, there wasn't that many commercials per hour.
Mm-hmm.
And then it started to increase. And again, think about it. If you start to have a recipe that's starting to work and make money, why wouldn't you follow the recipe? And think about how back in the 80s, did we have a lot of computers back in the 80s? No.
No, not
so
at all.
Where were the kids at?
The kids were outside.
Kids were outside.
Yep.
From sun up to sundown. They'd get up, they'd have breakfast. On the weekend, they'd be gone until the sun went down. Street lights came on. Kids are gone. Yep. You don't get to come home unless maybe if you're lucky, you come home for lunch.
You come home early, you might get kicked back outside.
You're going to be going, what are you doing in the house? Get outside. Absolutely.
Exactly.
So think about that we didn't have a whole lot of a TV. The TV got played at night, and it was, a tiny TV screen, and the whole family gathered around the one TV screen, right?
Right.
And then if you went from a black and white TV to a color TV, you were fancy. And then if you were really fancy, you had one of those big console TVs. Yeah. Remember what a big console TV was like?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. With the bunny ears, and
that's the one. And you would have to be the kid holding the bunny ears with the aluminum foil on to get the signal to watch the football game. Uh-huh. Right? But that's the way. That was a different time.
Yeah.
That was a completely different time. And information came to us in a much slower pace. You got your news on the newspaper. Okay. You got your other news by watching Walter Cronkite on TV at night.
Yeah. How many news stations? I don't really remember a lot of different news channels back then. Even locally, I do.
They'd have news segments. Right.
Right.
Uh-huh. And typically what occurred back then is there was also the news was presented as news.
Right.
You made up your own mind about how you felt about it, but the news was presented, compared to today, very neutral. There was not a lot of political thought into, or not thought, but not a lot of positioning and opinions thrown into the news. The news was the news. And so that's a whole different, think about that, how different that was and how we got information.
Right.
Now,
I'm trying to embody, put myself back in that time frame and to feel that experience and to feel what it felt like back then. And you're absolutely correct, man. The thing, not only were things slower, but they had more meaning to them.
Look at your music back in the 80s.
Yeah.
They had meaning. And think about how you got music. You take a tape recorder and you'd record the radio station playing a song you wanted to hear, and then you would mix your tapes.
It was a whole process.
But it took time.
Yeah. Yeah.
It took effort. It took energy. It took a lot of work for you to get some music you could play on your cassette player.
We were all mixtape DJs.
Oh, I did plenty of mixtapes.
Oh, me too. I had a whole shoebox. I had shoeboxes full of mixtapes.
When they came out with the 90-minute tapes.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Because remember, tapes before them were 60-minute tapes.
Mm-hmm.
Think about the amount of music you fit on a 90-minute tape. Oh my God, that was crazy.
Man.
But they were delicate. Remember, they would if you played them too much, they break.
They break. Or you have to use a pencil to rewind them.
I'm telling you, it was wild. It was wild. So it's a totally different thought process, that we were involved in when we were gathering information, processing information, where we even got our information. So because it was a slower pace to get the information, we could absorb larger chunks of information at any given time.
Now that I'm glad we brought this subject up. This has the potential to be a several segmented series where tonight we can talk about the attention, but it's also a piece of how technology went from where it was then. And we can only touch the surface because we only have an hour. On the next episode, we could talk about how TV's advanced if we aren't able to finish that tonight.
Yeah.
Then we could talk about the video game.
Gaming and all that goes along with that. That's just a whole little
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Think about games used to be a board game.
Yeah.
You'd play Parcheesi.
Parcheesi?
Remember Parcheesi?
No, I never played Parcheesi.
That was that game. You take the little deal with the ball, with the dice, single dice in the middle. And you had the different colors around the board.
And it clicks.
Click it, and you would hit that.
Is that what that was called?
That was called Parcheesi. That was called Parcheesi.
I'm thinking Life or something, but no. I remember that game.
But see, it was a slower paced game, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't a rapid paced game.
Mm-hmm.
So that was totally different how we would approach games and gaming back then. You would go to the arcade and play a pinball machine. There wasn't even, back in the day, there wasn't even a lot of arcade games. And your arcade games in the 80s were what? Pong.
Right.
Galaga.
Yeah.
Pac-Man.
Pac-Man.
Pac-Man, right?
Yeah.
That was making life change faster.
Yeah.
But even then,
mm-hmm.
totally different. Watt. That was a lot slower than today's pace.
Oh yeah, definitely slower.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember the first Pac-Man.
Right. And so what happened after we get out of the 80s? So we leave the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I got into computers in the 80s. So that tells you how long I've been doing this stuff.
So
we're
talking about television wise?
No, we're talking about attention.
Oh, okay.
Attention. So we're back on subject now.
Okay. All right.
So we get out of the 80s. What's next? Where are we at? Now you gotta remember now, the 90s is how many years ago? 35 years.
35 years, yeah.
35 years ago. Okay, so what happened in the 90s? What occurred? And this is the first time I personally noticed.
Shows became more dramatic. You had shows like ER.
ER in the 90s, right?
Soap operas as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So ER was a game changer. The reason why, the long walk and talk scenes. Think about a walk and talk scene.
Mm-hmm.
The doctor be walking from one room to another, and as they're talking, this camera is following them. It pulls you in, and then you get in the room, and it's absolute chaos.
Yeah.
The surgery scenes cut every 2 to 3 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Before ER, average shot length was 12 to 15 seconds. And this is in the 80s.
Right.
You cut it from 12 to 15 down to 2 to 3. After ER, it dropped 3 to 5 seconds was the absolute where it hit. That's the pacing of the industry standard. Yeah, I remember the first time I watched ER, it gave me a headache. It gave me a headache because I couldn't follow it because it was happening so fast. Now watch ER now and see how you feel about that. If it gives you a headache when you watch it, it probably doesn't, does it?
No.
But when the first several times I watched ER, I didn't like it. I actually had a headache when I was watching it. It hurt my head.
Wow.
Because there was too much going on that I was trying to play catch up with.
Yeah, your brain.
My attention was not able to stay on top of all of it.
Mm.
I wasn't programmed well enough to handle the pace. Think about that.
Yeah.
You're not programmed to handle the pace, therefore it hurts your head.
What else happened in the 80s? I mean, 90s? Music
videos. Flash movement.
Yep, flash
Think
movement.
about that.
Yeah.
Think about some of even the oldest videos they had all the crazy kaleidoscope stuff going on. They were doing all these crazy videography things, trying to make them fancy. Do you remember the Aha, Take
Yeah.
on Me? Remember that one? How
You know,
fast that video moved?
I'm gonna tell you the video that mesmerized me. Thriller. I had never seen anything like Thriller. I was mesmerized by it.
That was like a mini movie.
It was like a mini movie. I was blown away, and complete, drawn in.
Yep.
It had captured all of my attention and my focus on all the different elements that you're speaking of right now.
Yeah. Very intelligently created.
Yeah.
But see, this is movement and stimulation.
Yeah.
At every beat. ER just brought that adrenaline into scripted drama. That's all it was. Scripted drama. Don't think that someone who wasn't writing this didn't understand. When they produce these TV shows, you don't think they understand about
Absolutely language? Understand what the technology is.
Absolutely, they understand.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they've got the script sitting in front of them.
Yeah. What was groundbreaking movie that came out in the last 10 years? Oh, Avatar, the first Avatar. Groundbreaking. Mentally, visually, blown away. Never seen anything like that before.
And you remember the first Tron movie?
Oh, yeah. And you know what? They're making the first Tron now. They're doing a remake of it in 4K. They bring it in 4K.
So the thing is all right, so think about Tron and the graphics in Tron, or the first Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Right.
So
Star Wars came out in 77, the first one.
In 70,
77.
Yeah. And you look at that and compare that to the newer ones and how fast the action is.
Yeah, the action, the frames, everything.
Well, think about this. I'll give you an example of, we used to watch the old Kung Fu movies.
Still do.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying, now think about this.
Yeah.
Compare the old Kung Fu movies to the John Wick movies.
Wow.
Think about the pace of the fight scenes.
Yeah.
How fast the motion. You can barely with your eyes keep track of the action. It's happening so quickly. So quickly.
Yeah.
Because if your scene changes are happening so rapidly that your attention span is being cut down by the scene change, how do you make up for that? With the increased action and increased pace of the action. So John Wick is popular because the action sequences are so rapid.
You know, and that's a great point, because a lot of times when you go see those movies at the movie theater, it's happening so fast. The frames are moving so fast. You're keen in on not only just what you see visually, but the sound as well. Absolutely. And you miss a lot of elements. So when you get the chance to watch it again on television, you're saying, "Oh, I missed that part. How did I miss that part?" You know, and still there's movies that you can watch 5 to 10 times, and the elements are so intricate and detailed that there are things that you possibly miss, and you'll pick up and you say, "Oh man, I didn't know that. I've seen this movie 100 times and I'm just now seeing this." People say it all the time.
No idea it's happening.
Yeah, exactly.
So is it brilliant?
Is it brilliant, or is it cultural sabotage?
Both. Brilliant storytelling.
Right. Definitely brilliant storytelling.
Disguised as entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
Look, MTV taught us to live in jump cuts. ER made us feel them. Think about that when that happened. The 90s, yeah. 35 years ago. 35 years ago. And where have we come since then?
Man, you're putting this perspective that I never.
Do you remember a cassette player Walkman?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Then we had what? The first MP3 players.
MP3 players, yeah.
And where was our music then?
It was we was pirating music from off of
Napster, LimeWire,
yeah.
Airshare. I don't know what those are though. Those were for testing purposes only, is what that was for. We were checking out the viability of the new standards in P2P software. So we were just checking to see the boundaries and testing our internet bandwidth to see if it was solid. We deleted all the files immediately thereafter.
Definitely deleted all of it.
Yeah, we never kept anything from 1942 to the newest stuff of Billboard Top 100. We never kept that. Ever.
Not ever.
Just saying.
Yeah.
But every once in a while you have to test the archive capabilities of your hardware. So you might have to transfer those archives that you don't use from one place to another to make sure that the hardware is functioning to be able to easily access archives. So you're just testing archive functionality, but you always delete the files afterwards.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. You don't save anything. No. Not at all. So where are we at? What's going on now? Look, we've been through the 90s.
Right. So fast forward. To today. Let's fast forward to today. Oh, no. Are we done with the 90s? Well, there's different elements.
We kind of finished the 90s because the 90s, think about which years in our mind disappeared. The 2000s disappear in our mind. We remember the 80s and 90s, but do you remember the 2000s? 2010s? Those are 2 decades. Do you remember those 2 decades? It's like the 2000s to the 2010s up to 2020. Do you even remember those years?
Well, I have my own theory on that, and it has a lot to do with what happened in New York. And
you're not talking about what happened over in Switzerland with the super collider, are you?
No, I'm not talking about that.
Oh.
I'm talking about 2001. Yeah. But I was in the military, so man, at that time, and I went on 3 wartime deployments. So everything was a blur. Everything was a blur from 2001 to 2010. And yeah. So you're right in that perspective.
Yeah, my life during that time frame was a blur.
Yeah.
It was a blur. I look back on it and go, where did those 20 years go? Seriously, literally, not lying to you. I think in my mind, where did that 20 years? I remember the 80s. I was in the military doing my thing. I got out in the early 90s. All right, I remember that. That was good. But then the 2000s from Y2K, it became an absolute blur. It's like the pace dramatically picked up on everything. We had the beginnings of the internet. We had BBSs or bulletin boards you would dial in. And then we had AOL.
Yeah.
America Online. Remember that one? Dial-up internet.
Dial-up.
And so we started actually accessing information outside of the norm. The norm was printed media and your ABC, NBC, CBS. And when did Fox come into play?
Fox didn't come into play till later on.
Right, exactly. And then the advent of cable TV networks that totally changed the landscape, right?
Yeah.
Because what happened? There was only so much airwaves available, and the big 3 owned it. So when cable TV started to happen, they weren't dependent upon the airwaves anymore. They started to use the internet.
Right.
So it opened up a whole new media. But during that time, when that 20 years of media changing and the internet developing, our attention spans have dramatically dropped with it because our entertainment has become faster to get. Everything that we do is quicker. We can get things quicker. We can go online and find information that we didn't used to have to go to the library and get. Now it's all in front of your face. And we were starting to touch that in the 2000s. We're actually starting to actually migrate towards a more of a digital world back then. And we said, well, the internet's just a fad. It's not going to last. And then there was a lot happening. And then we had the dot-com bust of 2008, where a lot of these fast startups in the early 2000s were going to make all this big money. And then they got ahead of themselves and they turned into what's called mushroom effect.
Right.
A mushroom effect is when you grow with this certain size and then you mushroom out and then you collapse. That's what happened. These companies start up with a whole bunch of venture capital, didn't have any real solid base for their company, which is based upon business principles, and they spent all this money and they didn't have product to show for it, and it collapsed. That was the dot-com bust of 2008.
Right. I remember the 2008.
Mm-hmm. So, lots happened. So today, where are we at? Hell, we've moved all the way forward past all that mess. It used to be that Facebook caught our attention. You'd scroll through Facebook, but it took time to scroll through Facebook. Then we started scrolling through Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Then they had one called Musical.ly. Musical.ly. Yes. That was the one where you could upload your shorts, your short stories. It changed and became TikTok.
Oh. Okay.
It was originally Musical.ly.
Oh, you know what you missed? This was a culture, and I'm surprised you didn't mention this one. This one, which is the one that brought on Facebook. MySpace. Oh my God, MySpace. But you used to make your own page. So you would do programming and coding, and you were grabbing code with HTML.
Yes, yeah. But then we got lazy. You see, we wanted instant gratification, so we went away from that.
Yeah.
Into Facebook. Now you don't even just post. You just post stuff. You don't create pretty images on your page anymore. You now just post pictures.
Wow.
And repost everybody else's stuff.
How far we've come.
So then let's talk. This is like the death of the attention span right here.
Okay.
Reels, shorts.
Mm-hmm.
The cut is the story.
So we're talking about narratives that are compressed into what, like 15 seconds?
Dopamine.
Yeah.
It's like right now.
Right.
And we've all been through it. Have you done doom scrolling and spent 2 hours on TikTok and never realized you were on it?
Man, I've seen.
What about Snapchat? You ever been on Snapchat and start scrolling through the stuff in Snapchat?
I've never been on Snapchat.
Oh my God, it's the same thing. There's all these stories, one after another, after another, after another. And you scroll through them, just one after another. So you're watching this stuff, and it's all cotton candy.
I feel bad for these teachers. They're trying to give a 50-minute lecture, and kids are just zoned out. I guarantee they're zoned out.
There's nobody home.
You hear people say, "Oh man, the kids are late." The kids aren't lazy. They're not lazy. This is by design. Their brains are just being rewired. And you know what? I think the education system needs to have an overhaul because they catch up with the kids.
Well, if you ever watched the Netflix, the Social Dilemma.
Yeah, I've seen that.
All right. The people who have designed social media don't let their kids watch this stuff or touch it until they're at least 10 years old. Because if you wire your children too soon to have 6-second attention spans, then that's all they have.
Right.
I was walking in the DMV today, and these kids are with their parents, and they got a tablet in front of them, and the kid is knocking away from the tablet, and the parent has to guide the kid so they don't walk into somebody because their face is in the tablet. Tell me you don't see that stuff happening everywhere.
Right. You do. You still there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. So
on a previous episode, I remember we got into a discussion and we were talking about how Silicon Valley was literally influenced by Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
And scientists and engineers and designers took what they saw from the slot machines at the casinos in Vegas and how the attention of the slot machines was grabbing people's attention to the point where they would sit there for 12 to 18 hours straight. They had to get a piece of it.
Well, they took the model and just modified it.
Right.
Swipe, dopamine. Swipe, dopamine. Come on, it's nothing hard.
So we're not being distracted by accident, right? It's definitely by design.
It's by design. Come on. You know, Vine, back in the day, that was the gateway drug.
Yeah.
TikTok's the cartel.
Yeah.
Look, we don't just scroll. We became slot machines in human form.
Wow.
Think about that.
Man.
It's crazy.
That is crazy. So every decade shortened the leash. Students today aren't equipped for deep focus. But you know what? I wonder if there's a measure, and I'm quite sure it is out there. If you go from that time period right where TVs were introduced till now, I wonder how much our attention span has decreased.
Well, kids used to get an 8th grade education.
You said what now?
Kids used to have an 8th grade education. That's all they needed to go out and survive in the world. 8th grade education.
Back then, yeah.
Now you have to have 12 years education plus another 4 years. So that's doubled the education that your kids have to be able to go out in the world. Doubled.
That makes sense.
And I told you before, our education system is not education, it is indoctrination. So now if you take twice as long to indoctrinate somebody, you think you got them thinking they're thinking the way you want them to think. And here's entertainment only. And here's the resonance. A distracted population is easier to manage. If nobody can hold a thought longer than TikTok, you don't need to censor anything. You just need noise, a lot of it. And we've talked about the new big thing that's out there is the Yeti vlogs. AI created content. And we knew there's a shortage of content being created. Because we have a shortage of content, we have AI to create more content. And once AI is creating more content, it becomes the beach, and the original content creators become a single grain of sand on the beach.
And you know
what? Because AI is going to create content faster than we ever could.
I'm glad you said that. For the first time since AI, they started introducing AI as content or being or AI being content and content creators. For the first time today, I watched an AI video and I could not differentiate it in the beginning from whether it's AI or it was real. It had me guessing, like I had to look for certain elements. I'm like, wait a minute, man, is this real or is this AI?
And it's getting better and better and better and better by the minute, not by the day, by the minute.
Yep, you're absolutely correct.
So we don't need censorship.
No.
If you and I are out here talking about the reality of what's happening in our world, and we're talking about the Matrix and the reality of what the Matrix is in our world, we can talk all we want because we're just nothing. We're not even a whisper in the breeze, in the wind of a hurricane. So it doesn't matter what we say because we don't matter. We're not enough of a voice.
Orwell's 1984, except you don't even need the thought police anymore.
Right. Exactly. Orwell imagined telescreens and Big Brother monitoring every word. But the scary reality, if attention spans collapse to 8 seconds, you don't need to ban books or speeches. People can't follow them anyway.
Wow.
Think about that. We are beyond what we thought 1984 was scary, and we thought that it was going to be devastating to us as a people. We're beyond that. That's child's play.
Yeah. You start breaking it
That's
down.
pure, unadulterated child's play.
You start breaking it down, looking at all the elements. So Orson Welles' dramatization, to my smarts, to my final bosses, to my warriors, listen, and to my motivators, go check out 1984, Orson Welles. In his dramatization of 1984, this doesn't feel like distant future anymore or distant fiction. This is future now. If all these things is sci-fi now, these things are either here or they're achievable. I'm not coming from a place of fear. This is through engineered distraction.
Mm-hmm. Look, Big Brother doesn't need to shout. He just needs you to keep scrolling. Just keep scrolling. Noise is the new censorship. Think about that. In your room full of noise, and all you hear is noise, you can't hear the music anymore.
Wow.
And how do you dance to a song when you can't hear the music?
Well, I'll be damned.
It's pretty wild.
That is pretty wild.
Mm-hmm.
And are people even dancing to new songs anymore? You see people dancing to older songs. You don't
imagine really that.
To the new stuff.
Imagine, well, because they got this mumble rap and all this other stuff out there. You know, you get tired of hearing about 40s and blunts and bitches and hoes. I mean, you get tired. That's the same. That's all they say. And when you get tired of hearing the same thing, there's nothing good about it. You can flag that play. It's a good one to flag, because the problem is much of our music nowadays is cotton candy.
Yeah.
It's cotton candy. It's just the hook. It's the beat. And that's it.
That's it.
There is nothing. I can get out there. So mama talking to me, try to tell me how to live. Dun, 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 dun. As long as it's got a good beat to it, nobody cares.
I think that's why
you know where that came from, right?
Yeah, I know where that came from. Come on. I think I think a lot of people are starting to recognize that, and music that has more substance, people are actually gravitating towards. And even records, the sales of records have been on a rise for the last 10 years, outselling some other music platforms. So yeah, absolutely, man.
So what do you do? We always talk about what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Now we can talk a little bit about what can you do. All right. So does anybody, you have DVRs? You know what DVRs are? If you have a cable service, you can sometimes have a DVR.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And in certain subscriptions for like Paramount, if you buy Paramount subscription, you can watch your show, but as commercials. If you pay extra, you get the commercial-free version.
Mm-hmm.
So you got a DVR and skip, record shows, fast forward through the ads, break the loop. Premium streaming, pay for the ad-free tiers. It's not just convenience, it's mental defense. Think about that. Oh, I'm paying the extra money so I don't get ads. No, I'm defending my brain from these insane ads, which are bombarding me. I can at least watch content in a shorter period of time. I can watch the same content without the garbage.
Right.
So premium streaming, ad blockers. If you're a geek, there's a thing that's called a Pi hole. It's a little Raspberry Pi, and you turn it on and you build on it this thing called a Pi hole.
Mm-hmm.
And you send all your internet traffic through it, and it by itself blocks the ads so that your internet is not full of advertisement. It just stops them. The page that's full of advertisements just shows up blank.
Wow.
Volume control.
Mm-hmm.
Smart TVs can level the sound so commercials don't jolt you. Right? Intentional viewing. Don't just channel surf. Choose what you watch, finish it, and move on. Those are some of the things we can do. How about attention training?
Oh yeah, treat it like a muscle. Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Read a chapter out of a book before you go to bed. Read a whole chapter of a book. Watch a full movie without touching your phone. Right? Use methods like Pomodoro, Pomodoro.
That's a call to action. I challenge everyone in the chat. I challenge the smarts, my motivators, the final bosses, the warriors. I challenge you. Watch a movie without grabbing and touching your phone.
Yep.
That's a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
go look up Pomodoro. Pomodoro.
You said look it up? Or are you going, can you hear me? Mike. I think he froze. He did freeze. Hopefully it'll come back. But listen, to my smarts, hey, that's a real challenge, guys. Let me nope. When Mike will be back, he's having a little technical difficulties real quick. But instead of letting the system, and we're talking about the system, slice our attention into ribbons, we can stitch it back together by implementing some of these very things that we've been talking about. He's back.
He's back, but I don't know that my camera's back.
Oh, yeah, no, you're still a still.
Yeah. You can hear me, but my camera's dead.
That's all good. We're gonna let you be a still for now.
So check out the thing called Pomodoro, Pomodoro. Check that out.
All right.
It does things like set your timer for 25 minutes, take a 5-minute break, stand up, repeat the cycle 4 times. After the 4th cycle, you repeat. This whole thing is crazy. You can stretch your attention span if you do it.
All right, I'm gonna check that out. It's an app?
I don't know if there's an app for it. There might be.
Okay,
I'm gonna check it out.
It sounds like it might be an app. Yeah, I'll check that out. But yeah, guys, it's time to start implementing these things. Get your attention back, you know? We can stop the culture from the cutting. We can stop it. And you can choose how much you let in. You can say no. And it's okay to say no. It is okay to say no. What you got, Sensei?
Hey, I'm telling you, this is what happens when you start talking about some serious stuff. You get your stuff just technically drops and dies, right?
I'm interested in taking this conversation even further and start talking about the video game era, because that definitely has a play on the attention span.
Absolutely.
But you know what? But there's probably a whole gamut of things that this TV is just the tip of the iceberg. We can go line for line on many different things, to include things of entertainment that I was speaking of last night that are more prevalent. I think we lost them completely. Oh, well, it's okay. But yeah, I think we're going to create a series behind this. We're going to go into the video games. We're going to talk about entertainment across the board, from movies to concerts to parties. I mean, just everything. Anything that's going to be that grabs your attention. we're going to talk about it. And we're going to spin it up.
You can remember a lot.
See what the science is behind all these things and why so many things are attacking our attention. And yeah, I believe we're going to be able to create a series behind this, man, and see and have some discoveries as to why these things are happening and why it is being designed and what's the great purpose. Yep. And see who's behind the curtain.
See who's behind that curtain. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
But if you remember your history, you can remember where you came from. Now you can plot your future.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And listen, Final Boss, hold on. Let's give it up for the Sensei.
Hey, I'm still here. I'm just frozen.
Hey, I was just telling them, I don't know if you heard me, that we're going to do a deep dive on attention and all the different things out there that are causing these distractions. And
we just scratched the surface.
Yeah, we just scratched. This is the tip of the iceberg. And look, we're locked and loaded. We're locked in. This is what we're going to do.
Why not?
Smarts, final bosses, warriors, motivators. This isn't whether the world speeds up. It's whether we still remember how to slow down. And then that's our show for tonight. Listen, let that marinate in your spine. And always remember, there's a heavy pain that comes with discipline, but the pain of regret is even heavier. And to each and every single last one of you all over the world, no matter where you're tuning in from, good morning, good afternoon, good evening,
and good night.
Be balanced, be equal, and be smart. That's our show for tonight. I see you guys again on Thursday at 9 p.m. live for Special Guest Thursday. I have a tremendous, super positive individual who's going to be coming on Thursday at 9 p.m. live, and it's going to be a show that you do not want to miss. Information for that is going up soon. You guys have a great evening, a great night, and a great week. Talk to you soon.